Accurate Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. The United Nations Security Council (UNSC) has met behind closed doors in an emergency session amid the war between Israel and Gaza, but failed to achieve the unanimity needed for a joint statement. At least 1,100 people have already been killed since Hamas, the Palestinian group that controls the blockaded Gaza Strip, launched an assault on Israeli towns on Saturday and took hundreds of people hostage. Israel retaliated by declaring a state of war and pounding densely populated Gaza, killing hundreds of people. The United States called on the Council's 15 members to strongly condemn Hamas. The Council met for about 90 minutes and had a briefing from the UN Middle East Peace Envoy, Tor Wennesland. Diplomats said members, led by Russia, were hoping for a broader focus than condemning Hamas. A statement needs to be agreed upon by consensus. The United Arab Emirates, which normalized relations with Israel as part of a landmark 2020 deal, said it expected more UNSC meetings on the crisis. Rescue workers on Monday scrambled to pull out survivors and the dead from beneath the rubble 2 days after the northwestern city of Herat and its surroundings were struck by the deadliest earthquakes to rattle Afghanistan in years. The Taliban administration said at least 2,400 people were killed and many more injured in the quakes, which were among the world's deadliest this year, after tremors in Turkey and Syria, in which an estimated 50,000 people were killed. Neighbors Pakistan and Iran have offered to send rescue workers and humanitarian aid, while China's Red Cross Society offered cash relief aid. Quote, "The operation is still going on. Still, some people are being pulled out of the rubble," the spokesman of Herat's governor Nizar Ahmed Elias told pressmen, adding that more than a dozen villages around Herat were also affected. Many buildings in Herat city were relatively unaffected, but the medieval minarets of its famous mosque sustained some damage. Photographs on social media showed. Hemmed in by mountains, Afghanistan has a history of strong earthquakes, many in the rugged Hindu Kush region bordering Pakistan. The United States has said it will send multiple military ships and aircraft closer to Israel as a show of support following Saturday's surprise attack by the Palestinian armed group Hamas. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Sunday said Washington will also increase military aid and provide munitions to Israel. Hamas has labeled the U.S. announcement as aggression against Palestinians. Israel battered Palestinians with airstrikes in the besieged Gaza Strip on Sunday, with hundreds reportedly killed on both sides. Austin said the US believes Hamas's latest attack could also be aimed at disrupting a potential normalizing of ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Austin said the security assistance to Israel will begin moving on Sunday and that the US will be adding fighter jets to the region as well. The US has also ordered the moving of a carrier strike group closer to Israel, which includes the Ford carrier and ships that support it. A submarine arms race is intensifying as China embarks on production of a new generation of nuclear-armed submarines that for the first time are expected to pose a challenge to growing US and allied efforts to track them. Analysts and regional defense attachés say evidence is mounting that China is on track to have its Type 096 ballistic missile submarine operational before the end of the decade, with breakthroughs in its quietness aided in part by Russian technology. Research discussed at a conference in May at the US Naval War College and published in August by the college's China Maritime Studies Institute predicts the new vessels will be far harder to keep tabs on. That conclusion is credible, according to 7 analysts and 3 Asia-based military attachés. The discrete effort to track China's nuclear-powered and armed ballistic missile submarines, known as SSBNs, is one of the core drivers of increased deployment and contingency planning by the US Navy and other militaries across the Indo-Pacific region. That drive is expected to intensify when Type 096 enters service. The Chinese Navy is routinely staging fully armed nuclear deterrence patrols and its older Type 094 boats out of Hainan Island in the South China Sea, the Pentagon said in November, much like patrols operated for years by the United States, Britain, Russia, and France. Chuck Schumer, leading a group of United States senators to Beijing, has expressed disappointment over Beijing's response to the Gaza-Israel conflict during a meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing. Wang greeted Schumer the Senate Majority Leader and his bipartisan delegation at Beijing's Diaoyuntai State Guest House before proceeding into the meeting. In opening remarks, the Chinese Foreign Minister said he hoped the visit would, quote, help the United States to more accurately understand China. He also said he hoped the trip would help the two sides, quote, manage existing differences more rationally, helping the relationship between the two countries return to the track of healthy development. Schumer in turn thanked Wang for welcoming the group of US politicians who also hope to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping. But Schumer also expressed disappointment over Beijing's response to events over the weekend in Israel and Gaza. Beijing called on Sunday for all sides to show, quote, calm and ceasefire immediately. That is the size of top accurate global news update. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy New Week!